Hello, I'm Margaret O'Reilly, Curator of Fine Art here at the New Jersey State Museum. I'm standing in the gallery for the newly installed exhibition, John Nahr Signature Photography. John Nahr is an internationally acclaimed photographer, but he's more than a photographer, he's truly a Renaissance man. Trained as a linguist, he was with British intelligence during World War II. He's worked in advertising, he's written books on the environment and solar energy, and he's given us this great body of work, which we hope you'll come and see. We're going to talk to John today about a couple of the photographs. We invite you to come back and see him on April 5th when he's giving a gallery talk at lunchtime, and we know you'll really enjoy this exhibition. Please join us here at the State Museum. We're going to look now at two photographs by John Nahr. John, these two photographs are of graffiti artists, graffiti writers, and you've looked at and photographed graffiti writers and artists for a long time, but you've also taken lots of photographs of other artists.
Yeah.
Can you talk about these two images right here of Leon Rainbow and Will Casso, and tell us how you got to know them and how it relates to your other graffiti work?
Well, I photographed the first book on New York graffiti in 1973. I was then a New York photographer living in Midtown Manhattan, and Trenton was very far away in my mind. I moved to Trenton 11 years ago, and I suppose my reputation came with me. Of course, I photographed a lot of things and people other than graffiti, but the book I did was called The Face of Graffiti, became an iconic landmark in the history of graffiti. And it did attract a number of graffiti writers, as they call themselves, all over the world, contacted me, and I became part of their kind of lifestyle history. So it was therefore natural that I would meet two then graffiti writers, Leon Rainbow at the top and Will Casso-Connery, both of whom are not only or were graffiti writers, but they are in their own right extremely top-level muralist artists.
They are, absolutely, and both of them are here shown with other portraits of artists that you've taken, so they're shown connected both to the graffiti world and to the art world, which is a nice way to transition from what your early work to your contemporary work.
Well, I think it's only fitting that they would be in the company of Andy Warhol, Henry Moore,
Christo,
other artists, perhaps in some ways more famous, whom I have photographed.
Right, and Trenton Artisan. People can see not only their images here, but if you're in and around Trenton, you can see the works they've done.
Exactly. Well, you can see Casso's work, and I think that's in West Trenton.
I think
it's not far from where he was born and brought up. And I think this is actually most likely a self-portrait of him when you look at the small, young figure. And at least that's how I saw it, reach the wall, touch the hood. And these artists in particular are working not only as artists, but they are working in the community, which to me is extremely important. They both work with children, teaching children mural art and other art, because the basic graffiti writers never went to art school.
No formal training at all.
Whereas these guys really do have a very high level of skill and ability.
So John, we talked a little about the portraits that you've taken of some graffiti art, contemporary graffiti artists. Now we're going to talk a little bit about this earlier portrait, and much more formal portrait. Can you tell me how you met Joseph Albers and how you came to take this photograph?
Well, I met Joseph Albers, through a great Mexican architect, Luis Barragan.
Whose photographs are in the exhibition here. Right, the photographs of his home that you took.
And whose house I had photographed in Mexico City, 1965 or so. couple of years later, Barragan came up to New York, where I was then living, en route to meet with Joseph and Annie Albers, Joseph Albers' wife, a great artist
in her own right.
Barragan was commissioning both Albers to produce artworks, lithographs, and tapestries. Annie did tapestries, as you know, for a hotel that Barragan was designing, Camino Real in Mexico City. And I took some informal pictures that I sent to Albers of that meeting in Orange, Connecticut. Albers had just finished his stint as teaching at Yale.
Okay.
In any event, Annie phoned me about a week or so after I sent her these black and white pictures, and said she liked them, or Joseph liked them very much, and would I be interested in taking his portrait? Well,
and wasn't that a great ask to get the great Albers?
It really was. And Albers said to me, and we spoke German, he loved to, he was German, and he loved to speak German, drink an occasional schnapps with him. And he said, I want you to take a portrait of me that the world will remember me by, which was quite a challenge.
A little bit of pressure, John.
A little bit of pressure. So in any event, I came back about 2 or 3 weeks later, did the portrait.
And did he give you any direction on the portrait at all? He left you to your own devices?
He really left it very much up to, I was surprised in a way. I said, well, let's do it here. You sit at the table. He seemed to be in complete agreement with what I suggested. So I sent him the proofs, and I didn't hear anything for about 10 days or so. And then I get a phone call from Annie saying, Joseph's very unhappy. And I said, oh my God, he didn't like the picture,
right.
Didn't like my portrait. So, no, he loved the picture, but you didn't charge him enough money. And he actually ended up doubling my fee and giving me, I should have it in the exhibition, except to a beautiful yellow square lithograph that he dedicated to me personally.
Isn't that wonderful?
So any book today on Albers and the Albers, this is
the image that we all know of Joseph Albers.
The official portrait.
Absolutely. And for those of you who haven't been to the museum, we hope you'll come and see this photograph of Albers, but there's also a painting by Mr. Albers in the permanent collection here of the Fine Art Department. So we hope you'll come and take a look at that while you're here. Well, thanks, John. This has been a great pleasure talking about 2 of your works today. We hope lots of folks will come and see the exhibition.
Well,
and you're doing a gallery walk for us on Friday, April 5th.
Yeah, if
right?
you say so, I'm very happy to.
So we hope our visitors will come and see that as well.